All right, now that we got our drawing set up, we need to talk about the different dimensions and how to find our starting point so that we know where to start drawing at. Okay, so any real object has three dimensions: width, height, and depth. Okay, width, height, and depth. Now, width, height, and depth change depending on what you are considering the front of the object. So in drafting, the front of the object, what we consider to be the front, is the most descriptive view, the one that shows the most features. In most situations, it'll also be the largest view. But if largest and most descriptive are not the same view, most descriptive will always trump largest. Okay, this one kind of easy. There's not a whole lot of things about it that are descriptive, but let's look at one like this block. Clearly this view that I'm looking at here is going to show the most features. It's the most descriptive. If I look at this view, there's some things about the object I can't see. Same with this one, but from this view I can pretty much see everything, so that would be my front. Okay, this is the front of this block. So from the front, this is my width side to side, this is my height, and this is my depth. Okay, so looking at the front, I'm going to use this formula to find my starting point. So actually right now, just pause this video and copy down this formula on something and keep it throughout this drafting unit while we're on multi-view drafting. So go ahead and do that now. And then once you get it copied down, let's work with it here. So this looks way worse than it is. We use this half of the formula to see how many we're going to count over to start, and the bottom half, see how much we're going to count up or down to start. Okay, so let's just look at the top for a minute, the top half of this deal. 39 is because that's how wide my graph paper is. You don't really need to know that, but the width of this graph paper is 39 units. Okay, and so first thing it wants me to do is what's in the parentheses, so I need to do width plus depth. Width is 4, depth is 1.5, so I'm going to do 4 plus 1.5. 4 plus 1.5 is going to be 5.5, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to go, so this in the parentheses 5.5. I'm going to go 39 minus 5.5. And that's going to be 33.5. So x is 33.5. And I need to divide x by 3. So 33.5 divided by 3 equals 11.166 repeating. Okay, we're just going to call that 11. So that number is how much I count over to find my starting point. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to start counting from right here. I'm going to count over 11 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Put a little dot that I can erase later right here. Okay, and then I'm going to do the second half of my formula to figure out how much I count up. So I'm going to do this part, and I'm going to use the shape. Okay, 28 minus height plus depth. My height is 3 1/4, 3.25. My depth, 1.5. So 3.25 plus 1.5 equals 4.75. So height plus depth is 4.75. I'm going to go 28 minus 4.75. So throw that in your calculator. 28 minus 4.75. 7.5. So y, you should have got 23.25 for y. So I'm going to go 23.25 divided by 3. And you should get 7.75. 7.75. We'll round that to 8. Okay, so that's how many I count up. So go back to that little dot that you just did. That was over 11. Hopefully you can still see it. And based off of our starting point formula, we're going to come up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that will be our starting point for where we're going to start drafting. And remember those two numbers, 11 and 8. 11 and 8. We'll use those again. Okay? In multi-view, you draw your front view first. You always draw your front view first. Front view, all that you put in front view is width and height. All that you put in front view is width and height. We don't worry about depth yet. Okay? And for now, we're just going to go scale as 1 to 1. We'll talk more about that in the next few drawings, but that just means that 1 inch here equals 1 unit on our graph paper. Okay? So my width is 4. Starting point, this starting point right here, equals this corner of my object. Okay? Starting point is this corner of my object. From the dot, my width is 4, so I'm going to count over to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to hold my pencil there, and I'm going to connect back to my other dot. Okay? These are called object lines. They are the second heaviest line on your paper behind your border lines. Okay? Now, I'm going to just do my height, which I know is 3 1/4. It's going to be the same on both sides. I'm going to count up from here. 1, 2, 3, and I can eyeball 1/4. Okay, halfway would be right in between a block, and then 1/4 is going to be half of that. So from 1/4, I'm going to connect that down. So that line equals that line. That's where I'm at right now. So I need to do my right side. So from here, I'm going to come up 1, 2, 3, and 1/4. Hold my pencil, butt my ruler up against it, come down, and then I'm just going to connect the top, which will be this line. Okay, so that is my front view. That is my front view. This equals this face. All right, I always do front view first. Front view is the most descriptive. Top view is going to go right above front view. Okay? Front view and top view share a common width. All right? I need to get my spacing first. And how you're going to do that, whatever this was, whatever you were from the bottom to your starting point, you do that again here. Now I started on a 4th. So 1 will be to the next 4th. 2 is to the next 4th. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice little dot right there. It's at the little 1/4 point because I started counting from a 4th, so I'm going to end at a 4th. Okay? And that will be where I put basically this corner goes on that dot. This is my top view. So here we go. Depth, so I'm here right now. This point equals this point. I need to show my depth. I need to show this measurement. It's 1.5. Okay. This is going to be a little bit trickier because we're not right on intersections. So 1 will be to the next 4th, and then 1/2 will be 3/4 of the way up that unit. Okay, I'm going to connect those. Hey, at any time, if you get stuck, pause this video or rewind and go back and get caught up if you need to double check something. Okay, I just said that front view and top view have the same width, so they will always line up. These two will always line up. Okay, I know I'm 4 wide because that's my width, but I can just kind of cheat and just follow that up, follow this up that y-axis, and just draw it in like that. So I got a dot there, connect them, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill in these two, top and bottom. Okay, so that is that. That view is that view. 1.5 by 4. 1.5 by 4. Okay. Front view always lines up with top view, same width. Okay. And then over here is where I always put my side view. And to figure out where to start that, whatever you were from here to here would be the same over again. So you should remember, hopefully that's 11, or just count it again. Okay, so from right here I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That point equals this point. That point equals this point. Front view and side view share a common height. Front view and side view share a common height. Okay? First number I need is this, which is my depth. When you look at it from this view, it might not look like a depth, but that's still depth, no matter how I hold the object, because front is always my most descriptive view. Okay, so here's my depth. That point equals that point. Depth was still 1.5. I'm going to come 1.5, draw that in. And then I said side view and front view always share common height. That was 3 1/4. I can count up, or I can just know that it's got to be the same, so I can follow that over, draw it in, and then hopefully by now you can figure out what this shape still needs. I need this line and this line. It's going to be 1.5 and straight down. Your object lines are your second heaviest lines behind border lines. That's it. Okay, let's label these. This one's front view. Front view. Top view. Side view. Okay. Front view, side view, same height. Front view, top view, same width. Top view, side view, same depth. Alright, don't forget starting point formula. We're going to use that every time. A lot of times they'll be the same, but don't count on that. And then whatever you were from here over, your spacing will be the same there. Whatever you were from here up, your spacing will be the same there. Okay, and that is a multi-view drawing. Pretty simple one.